Hey, this is Ralph, and in this video, I'm going to play a bot. My original intention was I think I'm still in the intermediate category. Let's see, I played a mirror at 1200 before. Let's move up. Let's go to Vin or Nelson or Jade. Let's go for, let's play Nelson here. And I'm going to choose random, hit play. So we've got black on this game. E4, great opening. I'm going to go with a Caro-Kann Defense. So, oh, now they're bringing the queen out early. That's generally not a good thing to do, to bring your queen out so early. So I think we can take advantage of this. And since the queen is unsupported, I can develop my F knight while attacking the queen. And the queen's got to move. Now, I don't want them to push their pawn a little bit further, and I need to develop anyway. I'm going to go ahead and push to E5, this pawn. This opens up, and let's see, their knight is developed, but notice it can't go to either of these squares because my C6 pawn is guarding those. So I'm not worried about that knight move. I should really just keep up with my plan. Now I'm going to go ahead and develop my bishop, lining it up with the queen. Perfect. Now they're lining up with, for me, an undefended pawn, so I do need to contend with this. My thought is to go ahead and castle. If I castle, my king can defend this square. It is weird to castle into your opponent's kind of attacking side. I'm assuming after I castle, they're going to want to develop this pawn, get this bishop out, and maybe attack that G7 pawn. But I still think I've got some opportunities to work with that. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and castle. Now, another beginner mistake that white is making here is they're moving the same pieces over and over. So, yeah, they brought this queen out early, which is a mistake in and of itself. They are not developing their other pieces, which is a mistake in and of itself. Not that I'm, terribly developed either, but white should always be more developed than black since they have they get to go first. They should definitely be more developed. And a piece that they do have developed, they're just making the same, they're moving it over and over again, which just means they're not moving other pieces. I'm going to just push this D pawn, give some room to this bishop to come out here. Now, of course, I can bring my bishop out, attack their queen. It doesn't do too much. So I'm going to bring my bishop and challenge the bishop they just brought out and make them react. Okay, perfect. I'm cool with taking. I'm going to exchange bishops. Their bishop was pointed at my king. My bishop was pointed off just to the side. So therefore, I determined that their bishop was a little bit better than mine. So I'm going to trade their better bishop for my lesser bishop. And I also have the benefit now of doubling up their pawns and taking out a central pawn. So this black has more central control now. So I'm feeling pretty good about this. I'm going to get more development. Let's get my knight developed. And I'm tempted to move it again, but I think instead of doing that, I want to see what happens. I was thinking, bring the queen out, pin their knight basically, potentially look at this A2 pawn. I feel like doing something that's a little bit more aggressive now. Now, if my knight moves to C5, that's going to give me two attackers on their E4 pawn, but they have two defenders. You know what, though? I was trying to think maybe if I move my knight to b6, that starts to open up an attack here, and I can consider pushing, which I still may be able to do. I'm going to try it. Now this square on d5 does look well defended by white. If we just do the simple count, I have 1, 2, 3 attackers. Now we can also figure, well, I would start off by pushing my d5 pawn. And in fact, did I miss? No, yeah. 1, 2, and 3 attackers. And I'm going to go ahead and count this queen as 4. So I've got 4 attackers to this empty d5 pawn. But how many defenders does white have? 1, 2, 3, 4 with their queen. So they have an equal number of defenders. So I'm not quite ready to push because that would give them the last move and they would be able to have a piece in there. So not quite ready to do that. However, can I add a 5th attacker? I'm going to try it. I'm going to move my queen up 1 square and see if I can get a rook lined up under. So they're going to go attack my knight. I'm going to move this rook over and see if they take my knight. They may. Oh, or they may not. Can I start pushing? I'm going to try it because I've added an extra attacker. Now, white does have an opportunity to take one of my attackers with their bishop, and that would level things up. However, this pawn they just moved, whenever your opponent moves, what did they just move? And did they make a weakness? They kind of did. This pawn is moved, and I've got 2 attackers on this pawn that only has 1 defender. That seems very good for black. I'm going to take that pawn. It's a free pawn. Fine, they take a knight. I will take that one. Okay, they have a fork potential here. Now, I don't want to... There's an interesting kind of scenario here. Now, if they can get their knight to this square, they will be forking my queen and my rook, which means they're going to be able to win probably the lesser valued piece, of course, the rook. My queen is kind of necessary for defending my knight at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my queen up here to e6 so I can still defend my knight, and if they take this pawn, I can move my rook. Okay, I'm going to push this pawn, make them respond. Oh, they didn't respond the way I thought they would. Looks like they're giving me a free pawn to take, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that free pawn. They take a pawn, but I can recapture. And let's see. My opponent's knight, the white knight, is not yet trapped. It could move here, which is actually quite a good square for it. I'm going to move this knight back to kind of guard this square. I'm going to take. Okay, I'm going to count again here. If I push this pawn, I'm going to have 1, 2 defenders. My opponent will have 2 attackers. So, oh, actually, I take it back. Ooh, forgot about my rook. That's a defender as well. That means I have more attackers than my opponent does, which means should be safe to move. But I can't forget my opponent's last move. Their last move with this knight attacks my rook. I'm not ready to give that rook up. So I'm going to bring it back here. Now I think I can start to push. Before I do, though, where does their knight want to go? Knight on the rim is dim. Their knight cannot move here because my pawn guards that square. It could move here, though. That's a good square for them, so I'm going to take away that square. Now I think I can start the push. Okay, I'm a little surprised by that. Now, it might be a little risky to take with my queen because my queen is undefended, but I'm in good shape. Now my opponent is offering a queen trade. So we could trade queens. I'm up in material. I'm up 4 points of material. However, I don't need to trade queens right now. In fact, I can see I can take a pawn with check. Looks like I can also take a rook with check. That seems too good to be true, but it's not. It's just good. Take with check. King has to respond. Oh, they're going to block. Okay. Guess I'll take a pawn for free. Okay, they're threatening a bishop. They are. Looks like they're offering another queen trade. They've lined up down here. Yeah, really, I think I am going to trade this time. I'm up a lot of material, so let's trade. Let's develop that bishop, make room for the rooks. Let's see. All right. Move here. My plan is to move this pawn, kind of lock these two pieces into position. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. All right, I think it's time to start making a move on this king. See if we can push their knight away. Let's line up against this pawn. Let's threaten the rook that they just moved. Let's see. Now, sometimes when an opponent sacrifices a piece like this, it could be that they're setting up a knight fork. But it doesn't look like my opponent's going to be doing that this time, so I can take this rook without any concern. Actually, let's threaten this knight. They're not going to take it. Check. They're king can't move forward because my rook is guarding those squares. So I want to bring more attackers into this. Okay, they're going to stop this. They will. Now, I don't quite have a checkmate here. I'm thinking, you know, I could bring my rook here and check again, but their king can move down. Out of the way, of course. My knight is guarding this square, so they would have one escape square right there. Can I take that escape square? I might be able to. Let's see. Let's see if we can take away the escape square. Okay, this is pretty good. My rook is guarding these two squares. My h-rook. My e-rook is guarding these squares. My knight is guarding g2. All right, I'm going to push a pawn to open up this diagonal for my bishop. I'm going to check. They're going to have to move over here, I think. Okay. My rook is perfectly fine. My rook is being defended by my own knight and my pawn, so I'm not worried about that rook being taken. The king won't be able to move back. It won't be able to move forward. So now I just need to check the king one more time. And an easy way to check is to move my h-rook right up here. It's almost like a ladder mate, where my rooks are taking care of two ranks at the same time. King can't escape, can't grab the checking pieces, can't block the checking pieces. So we get a checkmate. All right, that was pretty good. I'm going to hit game review real quick. Okay, with Nelson. All right, 83%. Low B, can handle that. Actually, it might be a B. My school will use a 83%, makes it into the B range. So we got a B. I didn't have any blunders. A couple mistakes, though, and a couple misses. Sure if that is showing up on the recorder. Yeah, just basically, yeah, that is showing up. So, yeah, definitely a couple misses, missed opportunities, but a couple mistakes. Now, I am looking at my line chart since I was playing black. I can see that, yeah, really black was doing pretty well throughout the entire game. But there may have been a couple mistakes where I gave an opponent or let the game go back to about even. I'm kind of curious about that. I'm just going to click on this part of the chart. I thought I could do that there. Maybe I can't. No worries. I'm going to just, I'm not looking up here at the lines, but I will go to this mistake move, and I'm going to hit the back button on my arrow. So I just want to look at the eval bar for a moment. Say, okay, their queen move there, and black's getting a really good advantage, about 1.5, 1.6, minus 1.5, minus 1.6. And then I did this mistake move, and the eval bar drops a little bit. That wasn't too bad. There's another part coming up where I make another mistake. Ah, there we go, right there. So offering to trade these bishops was a more critical mistake. That's where I kind of lost some of that black's advantage. So let's see, what would be a better move than bishop e6, trading bishops? Well, definitely developing is good. And I do still see the value of developing this bishop. However, maybe I should have developed over here, threatening their queen. That's probably a pretty good move. Or I could have pushed my pawn to b5, threatening their bishop that they just moved out. Their bishop would be forced to move back. And then I have the potential of pushing my A pawn and potentially trapping their bishop, because their bishop would be under threat and they would have to move this A pawn to make an escape square. So I'm thinking, yeah, definitely bishop G4 is a candidate move, but I'm kind of liking pawn B5 as a better candidate move. Let's see what the lines say. So B5 is the second best engine move here, giving me a minus 1.44, but pretty much the same. Minus 1.45 is knight B D7. So knight B D7, developing that knight. Okay. Now normally, if I'm going to develop a knight, I'd prefer not to put it in front of my bishop, but I'm pretty sure a follow-up move is going to be knight b6. And if we look at this line, oh, knight takes f6. Oh, okay, so they were thinking that maybe this knight comes out here and then ultimately goes and takes on f6. So, however, with these lines, the b5 pawn move is more logical to me. So when you have a couple of engine moves, a couple lines to learn from, don't feel like you've always got to get the best one. Just look for a really good move that makes sense to you in that particular line. And for me, yeah, this pawn move seems really good. Let's kind of look at this for a moment. If I'd push that pawn, their bishop would certainly have to react because it's under attack. They just moved it out. They're not going to want to move it back. So maybe they're going to move it over here to kind of keep this tension on my f7 pawn, which is pinned, by the way. Now, if they do this, I could consider pushing my a pawn forward. That would be pretty good, because if they let me, I could push it one more time and trap their bishop. Now, seeing this happen, they may say, you know what, they're going to move this pawn out, give them some room to escape. So if I make this a pawn move again, their bishop would have a little hidey hole to get in. But then that would start to open up some potential here, me bringing this bishop out. If they do take, I'm going to have a great control over the center, and their knight's not going to have very many squares to move to at all. So yeah, for me, the b5 move, pawn b5, was the way to go. Take care.